Greetings, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. This is Canberk Güven speaking. Today is 24th of December 2022, and this is my last video for my TESOL Teach and Practice certificate. Okay, and I hope you are ready for your weekly dose of English. Okay, today we are going to focus on one of the most confusing tense in English grammar, past perfect continuous. Okay, maybe you're all familiar with present perfect tenses, but when it comes to past perfect tense, it's a completely different case. So simply, you cannot use past perfect tense by its own. You need at least two actions to activate the tense. And we use past perfect continuous to describe the event which happened earlier than the other event, okay? So I prepared some materials for you, but I have two reminders. First of all, the images or the sketch you are going to see are so funny, so you can feel free to laugh at them. But the main thing is don't try to understand or don't try to push yourself hard to understand what I am showing you, okay? Just watch and listen. My purpose is just get you into the topic, okay? I'm going to show you the grammar rules already after this whiteboard. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me share my funny screen. Okay, so now can you see my brilliant Picasso-like drawings and sketches? Yes, you can feel free to laugh at them. Okay, I'm going to explain you the situations. And as I said before, don't try to push yourself hard to understand it, okay? So I'm going to explain, I'm starting to explain the situations. The first one, he had been driving his car so fast until he saw the police officer. So this is the first situation. The second situation, Alex and Jonathan had been playing football by the time Daniel shouted at Alex. This is the second situation. And the third situation, the bull had been eating grass when he saw the wolf. Okay, this was the third situation. Okay, here, did you notice that all situations contains at least two actions, right? So I'm going to explain the mentality of past perfect tense. What is the structure or what is the logic of past perfect tense? Simply put, you have one action happened earlier in the past and it's just started happening until the other action interrupted it, okay? This is the main logic. If you just perceive this point, you are not going to see any hardship, okay? As I said before, one action started in the past, it's a continuous form, it's a progressive event, and it just started until one action interrupted this one, okay? So generally interrupting action will be in past simple form. Okay, I'm going to show you the structure on grammar rules for past perfect continuous. So let me share my whiteboard for the second time. Okay, I hope you all see the table. Here, you can you see the timeline, past, now, and future? But the left part of the timeline is more of interest for us, okay? As I said before, we have two actions, and one action happened earlier than the other action. So the first one, action A, happened earlier than action B, and it continues until action B interrupted this action, okay? So let's have a look at the structure, positive, negative, and question forms. The first one, positive. So we have subject, had, been, verb ing. Pretty easy, right? And how about negative one? Subject, hadn't been. plus verb ing. Okay, this time is hadn't been. But remember, you are going to see definitely two actions in each sentence. Okay, so how about the question form? This time, had comes before the subject and it just forms a question. Had plus subject plus been and verb ing. Okay, I'm going to read some examples and you will perceive better, okay? The first, we had been watching Lord of the Rings when she called us. Okay, you can see the positive form, right? We had been watching Lord of Rings and when she called us. So what I told you earlier, one action interrupts this action. And until this happened, this was continuous, right? So this is the logic. And the second one, she hadn't been going by bus when I saw her. Okay, this is the second example, is a negative form. She hadn't been going by bus when I saw her. So the action when I saw her interrupted it. She hadn't been going by bus. So you realize that she hadn't been going by bus. This is the interrupting point, okay? And the final one. Had they been eating breakfast when I rang the door? So imagine that one family is having breakfast and they stopped their eating after they heard the ring of the door, okay? So this is interrupting activity, which is in past simple form generally, past simple form. And this is our past perfect continuous. Okay, so this is all about past perfect continuous. It's not so hard, but people can confuse it. People can confuse it because since it contains at least two actions, okay? Let's remember together the rules. Then we are going to do the examples. Okay, past perfect continuous. One action had started until the other action interrupted it, okay? So in this situation, this is our interrupting activity, which is in past simple form, and this is the earlier action, which is in past perfect form, okay? So I hope you understood better, and I'm going to show you my exercises. Okay, here, let me see. I hope you see my examples, right? Okay, let's do these examples, but attention, they can be in positive, negative, or question forms, okay? Let's do them together. Before my mom entered my room, I blah blah sleep for 3 hours. So, which one is interrupting activity? My mom entered my room, right? This is interrupting activity. And this time, my mom realized that I had been sleeping for 3 hours. Okay, this is our positive form. Second one, by the time we finish the meal, we blah, 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 sit around the table for 2 hours. So they finished their meal and they realized they had been sitting around the table for 2 hours, okay? So this is also positive form. Okay, I want you to tell me the third sentence. Where blah blah he lived before he got a job. Okay, here, before he got a job is our interrupting activity, right? After this one, this is the earlier activity is stopped. Not stopped, but be realized, okay? You can say where you remember the question form. Had comes before the subject. Where had he been living before he got a job? Okay, four. He blah blah work hard before I told him that he had to. So until I told him that you should study more, he hadn't been studying, right? He hadn't been working. So here should be in negative form. He hadn't been working. hard before I told him that he had to. Okay, here the interpretation of the sentence is I told him that you should study harder. Then he started working hard. Okay. 5. They blah blah chop the woods until we paid a visit to their home. Okay, imagine yourself. One man is having an axe and cutting some woods, and until we paid their home, paid a visit to their home, we saw them, right? We saw him or we saw them chopping the woods. Okay, this is our interrupting activity. And this is the earlier activity. So they had been chopping. Okay, 6. When we came their home, they blah blah study, but playing FIFA. But playing FIFA meaning they had been doing another activity, right? When we came their home, this is our interrupting activity, and this is our earlier activity. So they hadn't been studying. They hadn't been studying because they had been playing FIFA. 7. Blah blah, you tell lies to the people until we told them the truth. Until we told them the truth, meaning this is our interrupting activity, and this is the action which had been happening in the past. But this is a question form. You remember the rule, had comes before the subject. Had you been telling, right? Had you been telling lies to the people until we told them the truth? Okay, our final example. Paul, blah, blah, make a good play until he was practicing. So let's think logically. Somebody should told him, you should practice harder, then you can be able, or you are able to have a good play, right? Here should be in negative form, like the fourth one, okay? Paul hadn't, sorry, hadn't been making a good play until he was practicing. Okay, he practiced, then he started playing good, okay? This is our interrupting activity, and Paul hadn't been making a good play is the earlier action. Okay, I hope you fully understood the situation. Let's sum it up. We use past perfect tense for we use past perfect tense when we have at least two actions, and when we just described it, when we describe the action, which action? The earlier action, okay? The earlier action, we should use past perfect, and the other interrupting action is past simple. And it's some events has already started, and this event interrupted it. This is past simple, and this is past perfect continuous. I hope you're all understood, and look after yourself. I hope to see you at my next videos. Peace out. Canberk out.